Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and we'll get started. So I see we got some new people here. If this is your first time, just write first, or maybe it's your first, second, or third. If you're a newcomer here, let us know, and welcome to the webinar. Okay, so I got some questions I saw about what's the best way to go about doing this. So if you have time and you're planning this correctly, what I always tell everybody is first thing you got to do is learn your vocabulary. It all starts with the vocabulary. Do not do anything until you learn the vocabulary. How could you learn your vocabulary? Well, we built 3 ways to do that in our system. One, there's a vocabulary worksheet that's blank that you could fill out by hand, which is a great idea to do because filling out and doing that research, it's a way to help you learn and help you remember things. If you don't know the answers to it, obviously you look it up on Google, look it up on your textbooks. On our site, we have a PDF printout that has all the words and information. We have an ebook and a vocabulary printout that you could use as well. You should really try and fill that out on your own to the best of your ability. That's going to be the first thing you should do. The second thing you could do is the flashcards. The flashcards are a great device to use on your mobile phone. We build it so it's super mobile friendly. So while you're online at the bank or watching your kids' games, you could go through the flashcards pretty easily. And lastly, of course, we have an exam that's just vocabulary. It's just vocabulary. Once you master those 3 things, then you start doing questions. Everybody with me so far? I don't see any activity on the chat, so I want to make sure you guys are there. You guys with me? Okay, good. You guys are there. All right, after you guys do the vocabulary, what you do is the exam prep questions one by one. Excuse me, not one by one, category by category. Do not do another category until you master the previous one. For example, today we're looking at contracts. Do not do any other categories until you're getting about 85% or higher on the contracts. Okay, this is after you've done the vocabulary. Once you've done the contracts, then you do the next section, next section, next section. And once you're consistently getting 85% on all of them individually, then you do the master exams. So you only do the master exams till you master the vocabulary. You're getting 85% or higher on all the individual categories, and then you do the master exams. And along the way, obviously, to help, you attend these webinars that you're here today. You can look at our videos we do, okay? And you could also watch past webinars. Don't forget that, guys. If you ever miss a webinar, you have access to all of them that have been previously done. So you can listen to those. So in the course of going through the system I just told you about, you could always listen to the webinars. Any questions on that about the process of studying? But I can't emphasize enough. If you guys just go right to doing questions, it's just going to be an exercise in frustration. It's not productive. All right, has everybody got that? Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, so there's no questions regarding that. Let's begin doing some contract work here. All right. First question of the day. It's about counteroffers. Okay, when a counteroffer is made, A, the offeree becomes the offeror. B, the original offer becomes a unilateral offer. C, the original offer cannot amend its terms. Or D, it is considered a partial acceptance of the original offer. Okay, what is a counteroffer? Who knows what a counteroffer is? Anybody knows? The answer is A. Good. So what is a counteroffer? What do you guys think? What is a counteroffer? So, by the most simple definition, a counteroffer is a brand new offer. Nice job, Mary Bierman. Good job. It's a brand new offer. Contrary to popular belief, which is actually more in line with actual practice, it is not a modification of the original offer. Okay? It is a brand new offer. It's a rejection of the original offer, and it's a new offer that obviously incorporates terms of the original offer. The offer E becomes the offer or. Do we all understand that? The offer E becomes the offer or. All right. What's the OREE rule? What's the OREE rule? Who knows what the OREE rule is? What do you guys think? So the OREE rule has to do with the suffix. Okay, it's the suffix. OR is the giver, EE receives. Okay, lessor, vendor, optionor, grantor is the giver, the proprietor. Lessee, vendee, optionee, grantee, gives me property, makes me happy. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it'll absolutely help you pass your exam. Okay, OR gives, EE receives. Offer or is the one giving the offer. Offer E is the one receiving the offer. What do you call somebody who is a tenant in a property? What would they be called? When they get a lease, what are they? What do you guys think? Lessee, good, excellent. What do you call somebody who's giving an option? What's somebody who's giving an option to buy a property? So if you give me money and for that amount of money, I'm going to reserve the right for you to buy the property. I'm going to give you an option. It's called the option or. Good. What do you call the borrower? Who is the borrower? Using this OREE rule. When there's a mortgage involved, who is the borrower? Good. The mortgagor. Excellent. Good. If it's a trustee, it would be the trustor. Okay? Trustor and mortgagor function the same way when borrowing money. Why are they the OR if they're receiving money? Why is it the mortgagor or trustor? It's okay, Nicole. It functions the same way. So you're totally right for thinking that. No worries. Okay? So why is the OR the mortgagor or the trustor when they're receiving money? Why is that? Is that an exception to the rule, or is there something else we should know? Nice job, Benjamin. It's because they're giving the pledge. Has everybody got that? So all you guys who said mortgagee or trustee, you understand that? That before they receive the money, they have to give the pledge, the promissory note. All right. Think of it this way. All right. If you're going to borrow money from me, you have to give me something before I give you the money. You have to give me some indication that you're going to pay me back before I give you any money. And what's that promise called? What's that thing that you give me? What do you do with that pledge? What is it? The promissory note. Great job, Mary Berman. She's been studying. You too, Jeff. I see you. Okay, so that promissory note is given. That's why in a relationship where money is borrowed, the one receiving the money is actually the OR in the relationship, the trustor or the mortgagor. Okay, because they're giving a promissory note. Did everybody follow me on that? Okay. Yeah, this week we're trying the early morning times. Help some people who go to work. We got a lot of requests from people in California who want to wake up and take their test before they go to work. By the way, for all you guys who are in California, I know we got some California people. I hope you're okay. I know there's a lot of fires going on there. Reading the news. Our thoughts are with you guys. So I know it's got to be pretty awful there right now. Okay, here we go. Next one. In a listing, which clause will allow a broker to collect a commission for a specified period of time after the term of the listing has expired? A, protection period clause. B, acceleration clause. C, release clause. D, delay pay clause. Okay, what is a protection period clause, also known as a safety clause? Who could explain this? So, Mary, a delay paid clause is really nothing other than something to throw you off on the exam. It's just something thrown in there, so don't worry about it. If you've never heard of it, don't circle it. Do you guys remember that rule? For those of you guys who've been with me for a little while, every once in a while, I'll say, if you've never heard of something, do not circle it. Don't doubt what you've been studying. If you've been studying, then you know what is real information, what is not. On your exams, they may throw in stuff that sounds fancy, sounds right, but it really is not the correct answer. So everybody write, I promise, never circle something I've never heard of. It's a lot to write. Just write, I promise. Okay? Never circle something you've never heard of. That's a big mistake people make when taking the exam. A lot of people, when you're insecure taking the exam, as most of us are, logically, because it's a stressful experience, they see something they never heard of, and they're like, ooh, that sounds right. That sounds like a good answer, and I haven't studied it, and I don't know what it is, so maybe that's the thing, okay? Don't ever do that. Okay. That's one of those test-taking techniques. It's a big one. Assume a broker took an open listing. He then made an oral agreement with another broker to share the commission on the property. The second broker procured an offer resulting in the sale of the property. The first broker refused to share his commission on the sale. A, he need not share the commission due to the statute of frauds. B, he need not share the commission as it was an open listing. C, the second broker would stand a good chance of winning a court suit for his share of the commission. D, the second broker could sue the seller for his share of the commission. And the answer is C. Why is it C? So I see a bunch of people got this wrong. Who could try and explain this one? Why did they circle C? Okay, so first it's an open listing. What's an open listing? What is an open listing, guys? Let's first tackle that. What's an open listing? What is an open listing? You could have multiple brokers and you need to show that you're the procuring cause. Okay. And then he said he made an oral agreement with another broker to share the commission on the property. Again, the second broker procured an offer resulting in the sale of the property. Okay, because it's an open listing, it's that second broker, all right, who has the right to the commission. All right, good. So let's talk about that for a second. As we look at another question, do this really quick, and then we're going to talk about this listing thing for a second. The the duration of a listing agreement is A, whatever is negotiated between the agent and the seller. B, 90 days. C, whatever is negotiated between the broker and the seller. Or D, 3 months. Okay, it's whatever is negotiated. Okay, what is a listing? What is a listing? Who knows what a listing is? Anybody know? First and foremost, it's an employment contract. Good job, guys. It's an employment contract. All right. Who's the employer? Who is the employer? Who is the employer? The seller. Nice job, Sarah Ross. Okay. Is the seller. Good. The employer is the seller. Okay. What are they employing you to do? What are they employing you to do? To find a buyer. When they employ you to do this, are you a special agent, a general agent, or a universal agent? Ooh, tougher question. When you get employed to do this, are you a special agent, a general agent, or a universal agent? You'd be a special agent in that scenario because it's for one thing and one thing only. The general agent's like a property manager where it's a continuous relationship. This is once you find that buyer, house sold, everybody's happy, you're done. Moved on with your life. Okay. It's not a continuous relationship. Okay. That's what that general agent is. Everybody got that? That was a tougher question there. Okay. All right. Next question. Is a listing bilateral or unilateral? Bilateral or unilateral? Is a listing bilateral or unilateral? Oh, Joshua, nice job. It depends. That was a trick question, guys. It depends. What does it depend on? So all listings are not bilateral. All listings are not bilateral. That was a trick question. Try to see who's awake. Okay, all listings are not bilateral. When could a listing be unilateral? When could a listing be unilateral? An option is unilateral. There you go, Benjamin. Great job. An option is unilateral. All right. I was also looking for an open listing is unilateral. An open listing is unilateral. Has everybody got that? An open listing is unilateral. Remember we spoke about the open listing in the last question? So everybody tell me again, what is an open listing? Okay, one more time. Tell me again what an open listing is. So we did it in the previous question. What's an open listing? Multiple brokers. If you have an open listing and I'm a broker, do I have to go look for a buyer? That's my question. If it's an open listing, am I obligated to use my time, effort, and money to go look for a buyer? No. So you just notice, okay, but if I bring that buyer, do you have to pay me? If I bring that buyer, do you guys have to pay me? What do you guys think? If I bring that, yes, you do. So therefore, how many promises are involved in that relationship? You guys just said, I don't have to go do anything. But if I bring that buyer, you have to give me money. Yeah, if I can prove on the procuring cause, all right? So there's only one promise. Everybody see how that's unilateral there? That was a tricky one, right, guys? So that's unilateral. All right. Now, a bilateral listing would be exclusive. Oh, Jason Denny says, my question is still on the duration of a listing agreement. What's your question, Jason? Okay, while you're writing that, I'll say the exclusive listings are bilateral. Why? Why are exclusive listings bilateral? Exclusive listings are bilateral. Why? Why are exclusive listings bilateral? Because an exclusive listing, there's no other brokers. Okay. So therefore, you have to go look for a buyer. You have to show that you are putting effort into that. Okay. It's not stuck. I'm just talking. See, I could change it anytime. See, Jason? Okay. Um, so an exclusive listing, all right, you have to go find a buyer. If you get an exclusive listing and you take a trip to Costa Rica or something, all right, then you violated your contract. Does everybody get that? You're violated the contract because when you sign an exclusive listing, you're the only one who can find a buyer. So you have to go promise that you're looking. Does an exclusive listing need a definite termination date? Does an exclusive listing need a definite termination date? What do you guys think? Yes, open listings do not. Exclusive listings need a definite termination date. Okay, for the reason I just said, because you're promising to look for a buyer and you're the only one they can hire. So if you're not doing a good job, there needs to be a time frame where they're allowed to go look for another broker. Whereas an open listing, they can look for a broker at any time they want. All right. Okay. Here, I'll read the question on the board now and tell me if you guys see this. Which of the following is an acceptable termination date for an enforceable exclusive listing of residential real property? A, 90 days after the listing agreement is signed. B, whenever the loan is funded. C, 3 days after the notice of rescission of the seller. Or D, 90 days from the completion of construction. You all see that question I just read? Everybody see that question? If not, refresh your page and you should be fine. Just refresh it. I saw some of you said you couldn't see that question, so okay, good. And for you guys who are new, if you guys don't know, make sure your settings are in 720 HD. Okay, hit the little gearbox on the bottom and change it to 720 HD. Okay, Jan Nevis said, if I sign exclusive listing for 3 months and then change my mind, open listing is a possibility, or I'm obligated. You're obligated to stay in 3 months in that situation. Good question. Okay. So the answer here is A. Okay, 9 days after the signed, because the other things are not definite termination dates. You don't know when completion construction is going to happen. You don't know when the loan's going to be funded. And you don't know when you're going to get notice of rescission. So 90 days after the agreement is signed is the only definite termination date. Which of the following is created when possession and title do not occur at the same time? A, interim occupancy agreement. B, writ of execution. C, estate at sufferance. D, subordination clause. A, interim occupancy agreement. Sure, an interim occupancy agreement, it just happens when possession and this transition of property does not happen at the same time. For example, if I buy your property and I want to move in before escrow closes, or you want to stay a little longer after, we could create a document that has some exchange of money sometimes, or just maybe it's just an agreement because we're nice, saying that you could stay there 3 days before it closes, or the other person stay there 3 days after. All right. It just has to do when possession and the transfer title do not coordinate exactly. For example, if the the new buyer needs a place to live, all right, and you're not there, maybe you'll let them go there before. Or if the seller needs a little more time, then there you go. Okay, which of the following statements about options is false? Not that I know of, Mary, but I can look it up. I'll look it up for you. Okay, for this one, which of the following statements about an option is false? A, the optionee does not have any rights in the land. B, consideration must be given by the optionee to the optionor. C, a lease option is a unilateral contract. D, the option binds the optionee to the performance. Okay, the answer is D. By definition of what an option is, you can't be binded to something. All right. So once you see the word binds, it can't be an option. And that's why it's false. An option A keeps an offer open for a specified period of time. B results in the commission to the broker of the optionee does not exercise the option. C gives the buyer a lien on the property. Or D requires the optionee to complete the purchase. Next week there will be Kendall. I did afternoon ones last week. This one I'll do morning. So next week I'll do the afternoon again. Maybe we'll even do some evening ones. So I try and switch it up week to week to accommodate everybody. But next week for sure. Okay. An option keeps an offer open for a specified period of time. Good. You guys ever heard of a lease option? What's a lease option? What is a lease option? Yeah, lease to buy. Some people have heard of that before. It's when you lease a property, at the end of the lease, you have the right to purchase the property you're leasing. And typically, for that right to purchase the end of the lease, you may give a certain amount of money down at the beginning, or you may pay a little extra money in rent. All right. I mean, usually that option to buy at the end is not free. So usually you'll maybe give an excessive amount in rent, or you'll give certain money down. And then if you buy the property, all that money you paid in rent becomes your down payment. Nicole says, what about rights to refusal if the owner chooses to sell? Well, that's the thing, Nicole. If they accept the money for that option, okay, then they can't sell it. They can't sell it to anybody else. So if they were thinking they want to sell it to somebody else, they should not accept that money for the option. Okay, Benjamin says, what is a net lease? Who knows this one? Anybody know what a net lease is? Okay, Benjamin, hold that thought. Let's answer this question, then we'll go over that net lease. The safety clause is found in A, a loan broker statement, B, a deposit receipt, C, a listing agreement, or D, a lease. And the answer is C. Okay, so Benjamin asked me what a net lease is. Not a net listing, Sarah, a net lease. Okay, what's a net lease? So you got three basic types of leases that come up on your exam. Well, four. You have your gross lease, net lease, percentage lease, and sandwich lease. Oh, happy to hear that, Happy Place. Thanks for letting us know. Congrats. Message me on Facebook and we'll see what we could do to help you with your career as you move forward. Good stuff. Okay, so you guys got those four leases. You got a gross lease, a net lease, a percentage lease. Okay, so a gross lease is when you're paying a set amount for the rent, a set amount, okay? It's your typical residential lease. A percentage lease, all right, is when you're paying your lease plus a percentage of your gross receipts. That's for commercial properties. A net lease is when you're paying for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. It's also known as a triple net lease, tax, insurance, and maintenance. And lastly, a sandwich lease is also known as subletting. Yes, Benjamin, that's right. Okay, and a sandwich lease is basically when the lessor is also the lessee. It's when you're subletting. Okay? All right, well, congrats to Happy Place. And for the rest of us, we'll be back here same time tomorrow. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And I hope you guys have a great day. And this is Joe from PrepAgent. All right, so I'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Congrats, Happy Place.